All right, I actually have an interview with SWMCOL, as you mentioned, and I'm going to be chatting this morning about a new campaign that they are starting. And of course, we know that SWMCOL is involved a lot in environmental preservation, and you know they have actually aligned themselves with some of the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. And I'm going to be chatting this morning with Thelma Ellie, who's a communication specialist with SWMCOL. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Thelma.
So it's nice being here with you, Gary.
Now, I know we have a lot to talk about and we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to allow you a lot of the speaking time, but I do know that SWMCOL has started this new campaign. Tell us about it.
It's not actually a new campaign. Actually, it isn't new at all. So this is a part of our continuum under the Get Into Green umbrella. As you know, the organization has recalibrated itself to strategically align itself to the Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs that I'm referring to, are the 17 goals that have been outlined by the United Nations that will ensure greater sustainability for the planet. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago's national policies, those are the Vision 2030, the National Development for the Environmental Plan, and the National Waste Recycling policies all align itself towards attaining or achieving these goals. As such, as we continue to make these strides along the pathway to sustainability, you have to accept that sustainability is a way of life. It's not a campaign or something you do for a short space of time. Like Mr. Budu Singh said there just now, Tobago is the capital of paradise. Correction. There is no Trinidad one side and Tobago one side. Trinidad and Tobago is the capital of paradise. And we must understand that waste management ties into sustainability. Waste management does not begin when you are finished with a product, nor does it end when you stop seeing the packaging. It's an entire process that we need to consider when we're moving forward and we're talking about sustainability and waste management. For example, a lot of persons are still talking about the floods that we experienced this week. That's the result of poor waste management. So what SWMCOL wants to do is to come again and to reinforce some of the messages that we've already told you about through proper waste management processes.
And when it comes to these proper waste management processes, I know that SWMCOL has been involved in educating the public and you know, really honing in on what we need to know and how we can do our part as individuals. But what is the next step aside from education? We need more awareness because clearly it is not being followed by everyone. So how can we do more?
Indeed. So as we said, this is a bit more reinforcing of what we've already been doing. As you know, SWMCOL has been schools and in many public spaces for quite some time, but we're going to take it a little bit further, like I means that we are going to continue moving together. So SWMCOL has actually partnered with quite a number of organizations to get done in the name of preserving the environment, conserving what we have, and proper waste management. So the pictures that you're seeing there is actually a part of a project that is funded by the United Nations Industrial jointly with the Basel Convention for the Caribbean, Ministry Planning and SWMCOL. The project was focused on monitoring and evaluate water and around areas that would have been affected by waste. Also, look at our Facebook sites, Facebook, Instagram, all of the social media.
Miss Ellie, we're having some difficulty hearing you because of the connection. I don't know if you wanted to repeat the last thing you said.
So what I was saying is that the picture that you were seeing actually that we've been doing. Like I said, this is a continuum. It's not something new. And so the pictures there is actual environment factors. These are So it's the JEF 5558 project. It's one that we partnered with UNIDO, the Basel Convention, Ministry of Planning, and many other stakeholders. And it focuses on the monitoring of effects pollution has on the environment in specific areas. Of course, SWMCOL manages 3 landfill sites, so those are the areas we're focusing first. Coming out of that, we have found many of our members of staff to be enthused again by the environment. And so the company launched a 1,000 tree planting initiative. Like I said before, this is all about conservation for us. This is all about protecting and defending our environment. Nothing that is new for SWMCOL. However, we did plant close to 1,000 trees, which then turned into an amazing project that I think all of you would be interested about. It's actually the Empowering Sustainable Communities project. So it's an ESC. What it is, it's a strategic alignment with another one of the SDGs that calls citizens to be more aware of how they interact to make sure that our activity is sustainable. And I'm stressing on the citizens because this focuses on schools, homes, businesses, all different parts that make up a community. At the end of the day, we must accept that people are the polluters. We are the Charlies. We are the problem, but we are also the solution. And by introducing proper waste management or different ways to mitigate against improper disposal of waste, that is the solution. And that's exactly what this program does. So, like you rightfully said, it will entail some more public education. It will entail some partnerships. Some of our strategic partners are the Ministry of Planning, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Coast Guard, HGC, and many other persons that will join with us. So one of our major persons are forestry. And of course, you know, anytime you're talking about the environment and conservation, that's the major stakeholder. So forestry is going to teach us how to manage our plants, how to take care of our environment. Ministry of Health is going to show us how to manage our environment to control insect vectors. We're going to look at this thing holistically. If you are a do-it-yourself person, maybe you're into arts and crafts, we can show you how to make plant pots, benches, bins, anything to give back to your community. Of course, we are not leaving out the ideals, the 10 R's, such as reducing, reusing, recycling, the introduction of rot or composting. We must rethink how we manage our waste. And of course, there will be some type of tree planting initiatives. You could look out for these in cities close to you. And let me give you a couple hints. So if you are in Arima, Davide, pay attention, Terrestrial, we're coming. If you are in Port of Spain, Beverly Hills, Laventille, we come in. Tobago, trust and believe, we did not forget you. San Fernando, Corinth, we are coming. And Curepe, the second city that doesn't sleep, East Grove, Alsane, we are coming to you to introduce our first leg of the Sustainable Communities Initiative.
And that's really heartening to know that these projects are on the schedule for SWMCOL, and you know, it's going to expand into further reaches in the country. Let's speak briefly about recycling, because that's not something that is something that we do, yes, but not on a large enough scale. And I know when it comes to recycling, SWMCOL is a big player in Trinidad and Tobago. When it comes to that itself, are there any plans to increase the scale of recycling nationwide?
Of course, because we're talking about sustainability and we are introducing these programs, you must understand the link. One of the things that SWMCOL is going to focus on is diverting waste away from our landfills. That's one of the ways that we can take care of our environment. One tool that we can use to do that is recycling. 70% of the waste that comes to the landfill is recyclable. So why would we misuse that resource? Because that's all waste is. Waste is a misplaced resource. And there are many opportunities in the area of recycling. Like I said before, 70% of our waste can be recycled. That does not include, it does include things like plastics, glass, tires, bulky waste, tree cuttings. For example, in the footage we saw this week, we saw a lot of debris in our rivers. So those were the tree cuttings. Instead of throwing it in the river, it can be turned into compost and then redirected back into another industry. For example, the agricultural sector uses it to generate food. If we think about waste management or resource appreciation or redirection correctly, that's how we tap into a sustainable community. Sustainability is a way of life, not something we simply do once.
All right. Thelma, I want to thank you for joining us. I know we're going to be chatting again next week. And so I'm looking forward to, ventilating more of the points and speaking about more of the great work that SWMCOL is doing as you continue this campaign that has been going on for quite a while, as you have informed us earlier. So I'm looking forward to that chat. But for now, though, we do have some material to play from SWMCOL itself. So I want to thank you, Thelma Ellie, Communications Specialist at SWMCOL. And let's take a look at this ad right now.